going on YouTube? So I wanted to do my Alamo Bowl preview, which is TCU and Oregon, and obviously a game that's supposed to feature a ton of points. So I think this will be one of the more exciting bowl games of the year, and definitely one you should watch, even though it is after the first round of playoff games and could kind of get lost in the whole deal of the college football playoffs between the semifinals and the finals. But I think this is a game you really shouldn't miss. So go ahead and start with my 3 keys for TCU. First one is spread the ball to all your weapons. They've got so many weapons on offense. Aaron Green, Trevon Boykin. Well, obviously Boykin's going to get the ball, but Trevon Boykin, Josh Doxson should be back. Colby Listenby, and Kevontae Turpin. And honestly, all of them have looked pretty good this year. Listenby hasn't been great, but not as good. Didn't look as good as he did last year. But you know what? He still had a pretty good season. So second one is get good O-line play. Obviously, Boykin should be 100% by then, but don't test it. Don't have to make him scramble out of the pocket every single play. Obviously, he's got the ability to, but give him time to throw the ball. Give him time to make reads against a pretty bad Oregon defense, especially the pass defense. So, granted, one that is playing better. So let him get through his reads, do what he does, and show why he was considered at many points during the season the best quarterback in all of college football. All right, so the third one is get pressure on Vernon Adams. So Vernon Adams is a very similar situation to Trevon Boykin, where you can see the night and day difference between when they're healthy, when the offenses are running well and when the teams are hot. And, if you can get some pressure on Vernon Adams and, force Oregon out of their main game plan that's done so well for them the last couple of weeks, then you can really put a lot of pressure on that offense to not just sit back there in the pocket and actually have to make throws, but then you can focus more on the run taking Royce Freeman out of the equation, which I think is the biggest thing for Oregon, or when you're facing Oregon's offense at least. Excuse me. So getting into my 3 keys for Oregon. First one is win the turnover battle. So Oregon, like I said, has struggled on defense this year. It's gotten a little bit better, but TCU's an offense like they have not seen yet this year. They have given up quite a few points to a lot of teams, including Washington State, Arizona State, especially Utah, and it got a lot better at the end of the year. So you got to keep that. You got to keep that up, and take the ball from Boykin away, or take the ball away from Boykin as much as possible. Take what Oklahoma State did and what TCU was doing at the beginning of the game, or not TCU. Baylor, even though that was mainly the weather, and implement it in what you do on defense. Focus more on takeaways than on just trying to stop their offense. You're not really going to straight up stop the offense that has that many weapons, that much athleticism, that much speed. TCU's offense is very comparable to Oregon's. Just learn lessons from how your offense has played the last couple games, and like I said, try to force turnovers, get in Boykin's head, and it's been proven to work. So second one is get Royce Freeman 20-plus carries. He's one of the best running backs in the country, and he's flown under the radar this year. I believe he's had like 800 or 900-yard games, and he's over 1,000 yards for the year. He is, I want to say, 4th in total rushing yards this year, or rushing yards. I think it's actually rushing yards per game. And he's had a fantastic year, and it's just kind of gone by the wayside because of the year Oregon's had and how much focus has been on Vernon Adams. If you can get Royce Freeman the ball, control the clock, keep the ball away from Boykin as much as possible, that'll go a long way towards helping you win the game. Third one is don't forget about Josh Doxson. Now, I know this seems obvious, but he's been injured for about the last month. And you know what? It's easy to forget that he's out there, how good he's been doing, and the fact that he might actually be healthy now. Josh Doxson was one of the best receivers, if not the best receiver in the country before he went down in the Oklahoma State game. And you know what? If he's back fully healthy with a fully healthy Trevon Boykin, with a fully healthy, pretty much full TCU offense, then this is a TCU offense that's as good as they were last year at their peak when they beat Ole Miss 42-3. So this is not an offense that you can take for granted. This is just kind of going for the entire TCU offense in general. Don't take what they did against Baylor, OU, and Oklahoma State to heart, because either weather or injuries had a huge factor to play in that. And to begin with, those 3 teams are not cupcake teams either. So you gotta pretty much factor in the fact that you're going to be facing the best TCU team that they've had all year, at least since the beginning of the year, maybe since the Texas game. Now, comes to my prediction. This is hard. So I think this might actually be one of the hardest games to predict, if not the hardest, just because I don't know if there's a clear favorite in this one. Like I said, these two teams are looking like their best that they have been at all year. And, Oregon hasn't been a great team at home this year, and TCU's been a pretty bad team on the road this year as well. And, obviously you can't say TCU terrible away from home in neutral site games, because last year in their bowl game they just ran Ole Miss. So, I'm going to go with TCU in this game. I think that they prove once again that when healthy they are a fantastic team. Again, not to take anything away from Oregon, I don't know how much motivation Vernon Adams is going to have playing in his last game, not knowing if he's going to the NFL or not. I'm not saying that's going to play a huge key, but it could. You don't know. Like I said, Oregon, for them, they got to stay in the same game plan they've been in their last couple games. Beating USC, beating Stanford, and play a little bit better defense. The defense that gave up 42 points to Oregon State is not the defense that can show up against TCU. So, I think it's going to be an extremely entertaining game. I believe on my list of top 5 it was, yes, number 4. It was the only New Year's Six Bowl or college football playoff game in my top 5 most exciting bowl games, which I will put in the description below. I will also put the links to my overall bowl predictions and my Michigan-Florida prediction in the description below as well. The link should be going up to the original bowl prediction video for these type of videos for the individual games in a little bit too. So the links to, or at least the handles to my Instagram and Twitter accounts will be in the description below as well, as they have been in the last few videos. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah.